Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed and welcome to my Love from Lizi August kit. If you want to see the full video about what this kit is all about, make sure you check out on the iCard for the unboxing video for this. Now, this kit's a little bit different. It is obviously super metallic and fun, and the whole point of this kit is how can you use this kit to mass produce cards or little mini gift boxes. We have made 15 different projects here today, not just 10, but 15, and all of the cards and boxes you can mass produce. So here is a set of 3 separate cards. They're all the same, but you can mass produce them, make them a little bit fun and different. Here's another set of 3 cards, a pair of cards, and then we have 3 different types of gift boxes that you can make up to 4 using this kit and the bumper kit that comes in the kit. So let's go jump in and let's go to the first project. So let's start with the first batch of cards. These are ones that you can mass produce. In your kit, you're given a whole bunch of bows that you can create with, and you're given a bunch of vellum. So here are 2 versions I've already made. They're super fun and cute. And the first step you're going to do is you're going to want to cut your vellum to place onto your black cardstock. Now, I personally like using my Xyron. Everybody's got a different thing. I like it because it almost gives it that stained glass look. Now, I know you can see where there's spots that are stuck down, but I like that look. This one I messed up when I put it in. I kind of put it a little crooked and it had this crease on it. So when it popped out, I took the entire sheet before I stuck it down to the card and crinkled it up to give it more creases to make it look like it should be that way. Now, if you don't like using a Xyron and making the whole thing, whole backside sticky, if you have a sheet that looks like this, another alternative is you only put adhesive in places where it's kind of covered up. So since these gold dots are going to kind of hide the adhesive, you can kind of place spots right here. You can place a little bit of adhesive here and there right where that's going to be. So you just kind of place it in random little places, and so you can't even see it. So this is another way around if you don't have any kind of a special way of gluing down your vellum, that you can get away with having that vellum look but not getting that stained glass look. So it's just different ways of applying it. Crinkle it up, make it look like it's broken. Apply adhesive to the entire back with like a sticker maker and emphasize the fact that you've got sections that are going on here. Or if you've got vellum that's got large spaces, just apply it to where you can't see it, or apply it where you're going to be putting, like for instance, where the tag is going to go. Stick glue there, or up in this corner we're going to be applying a little bit more. So there's always ways around it. Okay, next stage we're going to do is we're going to make our bow and we're going to attach our little card. So I'm going to ink this right here. I just like the look of it. I'm an inker. You guys know me. I ink everything. The other thing I want to do is I want to ink the inside of this bow. The reason for doing this is because when we make the bow, part of the inside is going to be seen. And I don't want it to look completely stark. So I'm just inking the inside of this. And that's it for the ink for this card. I need to pop out the little holes here. So there's a little hole there, a little hole here, and there's one right there. There's also a little hole right here. So I think there's about 10 bows on this. You can actually make about 10 of these cards. Now, for these 2 cards, I did stamps. This card, I am grabbing, and I put it on one of the little tags in the kit. I'm just grabbing a sentiment from in the kit. Simple as that. So I'm just going to come in, place down my thank you, and that part's done. So if you don't want a stamp, which the stamps are in the kit, I use the Hey Lovely stamp, or you can add a sentiment. So there's ways to kind of change up with the look of the card but still have the same pattern and idea. Okay, the bow could not be simpler. I'm going to make sure that all my little tags from my little pop things are off. There we go. First step you do is you go ahead and take your brad, and brads are not in the kit, but I think we all have a few little brads hanging around. It makes it so much simpler if you have a brad. Take a little brad, pop the first layer on like that, second layer on like this, third layer, this last piece right here, pops in here, just like that, and then you open, and that's it. There's your bow. Now, I liked the look of the little mirror in there. We were given these awesome little mirror stickers inside of our kit, but you can do it where you see the brad. I mean, you could get a decorative brad and go with that, or you can place something, and I'm going to turn this mirror kind of the opposite direction to the one I had in there. See, it just adds kind of a fun center to that bow. But again, you could do a decorative brad. You could put a gem in the middle. So many fun things you can do there, or leave it plain. Your call. All right. Next step is we're going to add our little diagonal pieces. This could not be simpler as well. Take your adhesive, run it along. My adhesive is having a problem today. And you're going to want to anchor it along here. Now you can make your strips as wide, oh, I need to move this, as wide or as narrow as you would like, as long as, and I realize I need to add a little more adhesive right here in this corner. Now you have this stuck down. The next thing you want to do is just take a pair of scissors and just trim off the edge right there. Come along the next side, trim off the edge. And as long as you've applied enough adhesive, that is on there. So as we cut this, now we have a perfect angle. I only have to make one extra cut. You can choose to do your angle, say here. You can do your angle really close. You can really pare it down and make it wide. This one I did them super close. This one I did at mediums. This one I'm going to go much, much wider. And there is multiple strips in the kit as well. So you can choose to do your strips, fat strips, little strips, whatever. But let's go nice and wide. And then we're going to place our bow kind of in the middle between the two, just for something different, just to change it up a bit. So again, apply my adhesive on the back here. Make sure you have enough. If you've overdone it, it's not a big deal, because it's just going to get cut off anyway. And there's enough that you could probably get away if you did 2 small strips. I could do a card that has narrow strips, or you can mix and match stripes too. You don't have to make them the exact same material. So I just need to come in and I have to cut this one last one. So there we go. So lots of strips left over. And I made 3 cards and I've used all different stuff. There's still a ton of vellum left because these are different patterns. This is a star. This one looks like it's kind of like a stained glass mirror hexagon kind of thing. And these are the large, large dots. So all super different. Don't use your tape runner. Instead, get a glue and apply the glue to the back side of your little bow here. Just like this. Makes life super simple. And now that the glue's on there, you can place this exactly where you want it. It's so I don't smash my bow, is what I'm going for here. And then place it on there. Now, the other thing I did is I kind of changed it up a little bit between the 3 cards. This one I kept with all gold, gold banners, gold bow, and gold stars, and gold label. This one I kept all silver. This one I mixed and matched. I did gold for the vellum and gold for the banner, but then I did silver for the bow and silver for the label. So you can mix and match all your metallics and have fun. It doesn't have to be all one or the other, and it makes for a fun card. So this is the first version of a mass production card that you can make using this kit. Let's go on to the next one. The next mass production card that we're going to make that you can easily take a ton of these is this card right here. So it's the same principle of design. You're using the large stamp Let's Celebrate. So that's what we're going to do first is we're going to ink up our stamp and stamp this onto our white cardstock. All right, so once you have your ink on there, go ahead and take your stamp off. I will clean that later. So now all you need is a pair of scissors. Fancy way of die cutting, let me tell you. And just run along. So I just did it wrong. I about to tell you, don't do what I just did. What you want to do is you want to get a large pair of scissors and you're going to go straight cut, straight all the way down, all the way until you get to the end. So that way you're not making a bunch of fine cuts and you get a nice straight line by doing that. So just keep on keeping on, going all the way around. Now, if for any reason you get a little bit of a white edge, which I do have a couple of spots, come in with your ink the edges, and no one will ever be the wiser that you didn't do a straight cut. Fake out. Okay. I am also going to ink the edges of this paper. Again, you could skip this step. This is just a personal me thing. And you can make it messy, you can make it clean. It's entirely up to you. There are so many fun metallic papers that are in the kit that it really doesn't matter what paper you pick for this. They all work. That's the great thing about this particular little design. Apply your adhesive, stick your tape down or your patch paper down. I can't talk today. And then in your kit, let's put this off to the side for right now, you're given a whole bunch of really cool strips. Now, if you notice, I've already used a whole bunch because that's what went onto these cards. And it does not matter what strip you pick. Start off skinny, fat, there's a whole bunch of them. I kind of like the idea that they're kind of all over the place. The first one you want to put down is going to be your vertical. So you want to create like the midsection and then cut. And then I think I have enough left over. And if you don't, this is the other option you can do. So you want to make sure that your strip, we're going to create the other section. So for instance, going across, make sure that your strip is wide enough, but it's not. So you can do a little fake out right here. You can cut a little bit, and I did put this strip on a tiny bit crooked, so I'm going to pretend I didn't put it on crooked and finish the strip going straight across and check, and there it is. You can see it. All right, so that's kind of the beginning of your base. Now you're going to make an X. So start off one side, always, you don't have to cut. Cross right through that little midsection you've made and trim off the end. There's so much of this in here. Now, if you're going to make a ton of cards, you could save this and do the cut method, or you could just pitch that. It doesn't matter. There's so many strips in here, and you can stamp to your heart's content that truly this card is only limited to the cardstock for the back of the card, of which you can always add more, and you can always do the background in white. You don't have to make it in black. And the pattern paper, which there is oodles and oodles and oodles of pattern paper in this kit. So this card you can make a ton of because you've got lots of strips, you've got lots of options here. So this is another one where I'm going to do my little fake out cut method here. It's just not quite long enough. So I'm going to trim right here and fake out going this diagonal right there. So now if you notice, I just went through and I did the 2 diagonals, and now I'm going to come in and add some extra strips here and there just to kind of finish it, make it kind of fun. Hit this diagonal. It's kind of like spokes. You're almost making like a clock pattern here. When you feel like you have enough, you can call it quits. When you feel like you want to do more, do more. You know, it's your call. Make them skinny, make them fat. Just make them straight. It looks funny if they're all kind of out of whack here. And you can add as many. I think it looks better if you kind of do all the 12 spokes of like a clock face here versus just doing it across T. It doesn't look like a starburst, which is the effect I'm kind of going for here. And I feel like I'm good. So this one, I mean, it really depends on how much you want to go. I think I've done about the same for all of them. And the other thing is when you place your strips down, notice how I'm not making them all the same length. I'm changing up the lengths and just making it random. So now let's check to make sure all of our spokes are long enough. And yes, they are. We're good. Now I'm going to take a little bit, and this is the last little bit that I have left. You guys have seen me make on lots of previous videos homemade pop dots using all different kinds of stuff. Cardboard is the go-to one, but I happen to have this left. I was cleaning out my room here, and I came across some supplies that I kind of shove into a drawer and then forget about, and this was one of them. It's the very tail end. So instead of, you know, just making my own, which there's nothing wrong with it, use up if I already have it. I mean, why let it go to waste in a drawer? So yay, I'm using it. And now that little package is done. It's nice to kind of use, I don't know why it is. It's always nice to use something up. All right, so easy mass-produced card, large stamp. That's the hardest part of this card. Picking out your background paper, any of the background papers. They can be lots heavy patterned, light patterns, medium patterned, whatever you want. I mean, I did chevron, stars, and dots. They all look good. Then placing down your starburst, and look, I still have a ton left. I haven't even used half of the kit, and I've already made 3 cards. And I didn't even use up some strips. I mean, if you want to get super frugal about it, cut them in half like we did for the other ones to give you a little bit of extra room. So another easy card you can mass produce using this fantastic kit. Now let's see what's next. Sorry about the band of light coming through part of this video. There's just a time of day with light just hits. And it's unfortunately the best time of day for me to video because all my kids are in school, or they're finally back in school. All right, we are now going to make a couple of really cute boxes. I mean, these things are so stinking adorable. I love them. So these are little what I would call purse boxes because they're being held together by a little a ribbon, kind of like a purse action going on here. So this is very simple. What you need to do is, what you can see I'm doing here, is I'm starting to fold against all of the edges that are perforated. So every single edge that has a little bit of a, what I would call an edge to it, I don't know how the best way to describe it, on the inside of the card and even on the outside, you can see where you can kind of cut and fold and make sure that they're there. The next thing you want to do is there's a little where the holes are, and that's where the ribbon is going to be going through. Poke through to make sure they're out of your way to make life a little easier for you as you do this. Okay, so now you're going to fold it up like a box. So there's a bottom section, and basically you're going to be folding in. These little flaps need to stay in, and see how this is a longer flap? Keep that flap out. That's the last flap to go in. So you kind of fold it up right here, fold up this little flap, fold up the top flap. So lots of little flappy action happening here. And there we go. So just to kind of give you a basis of where this is going. Now, there is another piece right here. This piece, this flap, goes right inside, and it needs to stick to here. So right on this flap right here, I keep saying flap, 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 is where you're going to apply adhesive. I find a tape runner works a little bit better for this than the others. Remember, keep these two bottom flaps in first, and keep this big flap out. Fold this over. Careful not to stick it to your finger like I just did. And then line it up just right. Now, if you didn't get the bottom flaps in perfectly, don't worry about it. The main thing is that you want to get this flap done. So I put my finger on the inside and just kind of rub back and forth. And then it looks like a little box now. So now that you've got this piece in here, add adhesive to this bottom large flap to close it up. And there it is. Now you have your box. Pretty simple, right? So before we close up our box, and oh, what can you use this box for? I believe this box is big enough to put a gift card. You can also put little candies. You can also put money. I mean, everybody loves a little bit of cash. That would be fantastic. There's lots of options of what you can do with this box. But we are now going to decorate the front of the box because, you know, why not? That's what we do. And again, you know me, I like to ink. So the first two boxes, and there's actually one more box that looks just like this. First two boxes look exactly the same. The third box is gold, and then the fourth box is identical to this. So there's actually 4 of these boxes. So this is another one you can mass produce, and I'm showing you 3 different versions of this. So now that you have that on there, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little tag here, which you could ink, but I think I'm going to leave this one alone. And if you notice, I made all different kinds of fun tags. Pick a pattern paper you like, cut that to fit on the front of the box. I just think it looks really cool. And then the next thing you're going to do is you pick a fun little tag that you would like to be included. I've done circle, I've done hexagon, and now we're doing a triangle. You could even do a square. There's so many options. And if you notice, I am off-centering it, which I didn't do a very good job of not applying my adhesive. But let's see. Oh, no, a little bit of adhesive on there. It's okay. I'm just going to use my finger and kind of rub it off. So you would never know it's there. Ta-da! The nice thing about the Xyron adhesive is it can pull off really easily. Now I have this full piece. I'm going to apply adhesive all the way to the back and stick it down. And there is a little bit of perforation here, and that's because you're going to be kind of bending the box. I like putting my tag over top of that just to kind of cover that up. And there's that, right? Now, if you notice, there's like a little triangle kind of piece. That's where this folds in, and it folds in on both sides. So you just kind of fold it in, and then it pinches in, just like that. Pretty simple. You take your bow, so there's a whole bunch of different types of ribbons that are in the kits. You start off, you go through the front hole, and if you have a problem, this is where your little piercer tool can help you to kind of push it through. Oops, I just pulled it back out. But push it through the back side, pull, flip your box around, and now you're going to reverse that. Go in through the back, all the way through the front, and pull. So the nice thing about this is you can prep all of these boxes and not worry about not having them closed, because all you have to do is open up the string. We're not gluing this shut in any way, shape, or form. You could if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. I do pretend I've already loaded this up and added in there what I wanted to add in. I do like to put a knot just so that this won't come untied too easily and get loose. So I do put a knot, and then I will tie my bow, just like you're tying your shoelace. Whatever shoelace tie you want to do, fix it so you like your little dangles. You like your bow, however it is. For these 2 bows, I use black. For this one, I'm using kind of that platinum-y color, and I'm going to trim that little extra off. You can leave the tags long. You can leave them short. It's really up to you. So there is 4 boxes you can make with this. 2 gold, 2 in that what I would call white silver look. So many options for the background paper and little fun tags that you can use to create little gift boxes to give to people. So that is the 3rd mass production, and let's get on to the next one. All right, the next mass production you can make are these cute little boxes that come in the kit. Now, there's a whole variety. This is one that's got silver stripes on it, but this is another one that's got gold stars. So basically, just like with the other box kit that we were putting together, the little purse box that we made earlier, this one you start by just going through all the folds, making sure all the little folds are folded down. I believe there are 4 of this type of box in there. So again, you can mass produce these by making a whole bunch of them. All right, so now that you got all your folds, you're going to want to add a little bit of adhesive to this layer right here. And I like using a tape runner for this. It just makes life a little bit easier. Fold up your box just like this. And the last little piece you need is this little tab. So it kind of comes together. You have a bigger tab right here, and that goes under these tabs. It's kind of a little bit confusing. This is the sticky piece right here. So we're going to fold that in. Helps hold the whole box together. Just like that. And then basically what happens is you have this big flap here, these 2 side flaps that kind of go underneath. So you kind of put that under, and then this flap goes under there, just like that. You don't have to glue anything on the bottom because everything is already stabilized. The only thing I've glued so far is this right here. That's it. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to have this little fold over tab. Now, I left the tab open on this box because these boxes are the same. The only thing I did so far for between the boxes is how I decorated it. So for the front of this box, I grabbed a little label from inside the box. I then grabbed a little banner, and the banner I picked was this one right here. It had little dots on it, and I layered over top, and then I added the stickers. And instead of putting a name on there, because that could get really long, I put the initials. So actually this is for my daughter. Her initials are C-A-R. I didn't realize that we named my daughter Car for her initials. That's okay. The next thing I did is I took one of these metal embellishments. I took a star, glued that to the top. I actually put down this top layer and added glue, and then just put a little ribbon on top. For this one, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. There is a circle. I just love this circle. I think it's so cool. So it's a circle embellishment that I'm just going to add, and I'm actually going to use it to help hold down this piece. Now, obviously, I didn't put anything in the box, but you could put all kinds of fun, small little things, little presents, money. It's too small for a gift card, but you definitely could put cash or little candies or something, nothing too heavy because this is paper. But you would want to do that before, for instance, this happened, or before we're going to be putting this layer down, because otherwise you're just not going to have enough oomph for it to stick. Now, I'm basically going to be attaching this circle to this tab right here. So I'm going to open up my box and add adhesive right here to that. Now, before I glue that down, I'm going to add my initials to this. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to add that little banner again. So this is another little banner that is in there, and I can go ahead and add some adhesive down to this. It just adds just layers and layers, and you can mix and match the gold and silver. Like in this one, you can do it all gold, just it does not matter. And I'm going to pick a different set of initials. I'm going to do my initials. And there's a whole bunch of these stickers in there. There's even larger stickers if you want to do larger ones. So my initials are EKR. So where is the K? And there is a white, but I don't want to stay away from the white. And I like alternating it. You could either keep them all the same color or alternate it gold and silver. Your call. And whenever I put down anything, I always start in the center first. I always put that one down to begin with, because then I know where the middle is. And then I usually end up going to the right side first because I'm right-handed, and then I will match it to the left. So there's that. And I have a little bit of sticky on my mat. This is why I put down this big white paper whenever I'm working, because inevitably I get stuff on it and then I can throw the paper away and I don't get my craft mat below me all gross. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to overlap right here, right where that is. And now it gives me that little bit of a flap, just like that. Isn't that kind of fun? All right, so if you wanted to, you could come in and you could add adhesive to all of this. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to add adhesive to this whole piece right here. I think I did pretty good. I didn't overshoot it, and just do my best without pushing too hard. And those are 2 fun boxes. And like I said, there's 2 other boxes in the kit. I think it's in the bumper pack that you can create. And then you can mix and match the little things that you want to put on there. Doing initials, if you have a short name, you could put the short name on there. Adding a fun embellishments, tags, banners, ribbons, some of the metal embellishments, just kind of having fun with it. And that is the next batch. All right, we're coming up to the next batch of mass production that you can create using this amazing kit. So white base of a card, and then we are going to take a background paper, one of the foiled background papers, the pretty metallic-y ones, that has a lot of metallic to it, not white, but metallic. So I picked the dot one here, and then on this card, which is what we're going to do another version of, I picked one that was more gold than anything else. This is the other part of it. So that way, because it's just a hint, it's just a tiny little hint that's poking through around the edge. So from here, what you're going to do is you're going to ink. Again, I ink everything, so that's where I go. You're going to ink the edges of everything. I'm actually not going to ink the other paper because we are going to heat emboss. So there's certain things that you have in this kit where there's a lot of the same stuff. There is sequins, so we can use that. Obviously, you can stamp to your heart's content. There's also a ton of these banners and ribbon. So, and you can mix and match all these various colors. I'm going to go ahead and glue this port down. So I'm just going to use my tape runner and get this piece down. Just like that. And it's a very, very close. I didn't do my normal cuts because I want this to go almost all the way to the edge of the card. I do like seeing a little hint of that white though, so that's why I do that. Okay, from here we are going to put our stamp. Now in our kit, in the kit, there is a whole bunch. And the first one I said, you're a star. This one, and then I also took the star and I stamped all around the background of this with the star. I'm not going to do the background this time because it tied with the star, which is why I did it. This one happens to say best and loveliest friend. It's the stars just don't quite work with that. So I'm going to use a embossing stamp pad for this and come in. And I need to make sure that I orientate my paper the correct direction. I am keeping the same layout though. I'm going to put the stamp in the bottom corner. So I'm going to come in here and then just stamp in this bottom corner right here. Just like that. Ooh, I wiggled that a tiny bit. Actually, it's still good. I'm calling it good. And then for this one, instead of doing the star, we're going to do this fun background piece. So we're going to create kind of our own background paper. So I'm just going to take this medallion, and I'm not going to overdo it though, because I really don't want to go too far because we're going to be putting the banner on there. So I'm just going to take my paper. I'm going to do this corner right here. I'm just kind of coming in and doing the corners because the banner is going to be coming around the other areas. We're going to do another one here and then here. And I flipped, so I actually had the ink coming on this side of the stamp, and this side I used half here and then flipped and did half there. All right, I have my little tidy tray here, which is still left over with the embossing powder from the first round. So I'm going to come in with my other embossing. There's a ton in this jar. Embossing powder goes a long way. So it's one way to really kind of get a lot of life to your cards. A dry paintbrush and just rub on the areas where there's maybe a section that the stamp, that just something got on there. You want to tap. You want to get all that embossing powder. The only thing you want it to be on there is where the stamp was, and that's where the embossing powder is going to be. So clean it off. I did smudge a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I think that's fine. It could be better, but not enough to make me want to redo it. There's some things I'm like, okay, that was really bad, and I have to redo that. This one, I'm not of that course. Now, I did get some embossing powder over here, so it is what it is. This background sheet's going to get thrown away anyway when this card's over. So now I'm going to come in and emboss this, and you know it's done because it's going to get kind of shiny. And there we go, making your own background paper. So I've got a really super metallic with a very light metallic. If you don't want to mess with doing the background paper, you don't have to, but I just think the embossing of it all looks kind of cool. And then now I'm going to add in my black edges just to help it pop, because we have a white paper against a white paper. Just adds that extra layer of something so they don't look too matchy-matchy on each other. And then I'm going to come in and add my tape adhesive right here. And then layer this on top. So the background paper that we have where that metallic is really is like just a hint of it, just a hint. Okay, so from here I'm going to measure off a little bit of ribbon. I've grabbed the gold ribbon. On the other card I used a silver ribbon. There's also black ribbon, there's white ribbon, and there's a ton of ribbon here. So one strand of ribbon I think would end up helping you make 3 cards. So far if you pick up a different background paper, you might have to get some extra cardstock because that's not in the kit, but you can stamp a whole bunch of these layers. I mean, there's probably about 15 of these cards that you can make. And then the banners, it depends on what the banners are. Now, on this card, we use the banners that look like little pennants with fishtail. But for this card that we're going to do the ones that look like diamonds, just for something different, a little contrast. And we're going to do ones here. I did ones that were more metallic colored. And for this one, I want to do ones that look more white. So it's just white on white. Give it a very different kind of a vibe. So I've got those two. Oh, I picked 2 gold. Now I'm going to pick a silver. So again, you can mix and match all the metallics. So because I've got lots of silver happening, but we're using a gold ribbon, but we've got gold. I mean, just can really kind of go everywhere with it. There's no right or wrong with how to do these cards. And you can mix and match the metallics because those are really the only main colors that you have going on here. So we're going to do this one. I kind of angled it, but this one we're going to do almost like a straight across. And I cut this way too big. That's okay. So we're just going to kind of do a little slash going right through here, just like that. I need to trim my ribbon to be a little bit shorter. And here's my hint to you with ribbon. Now you could use tape, but I found that this skinny little ribbon is not super heavy. It does hold quite well with just the adhesive. So I'm going to come in, grab my adhesive. And if I feel there's not enough sticky on the back to this, which this one actually has a really good job, I'm just going to add a little bit more. There it is. And then to make sure this is really stuck down, add a lot more of my adhesive to this corner right there. Okay. And now pull it over right here. And then we lift up the other side of the card right here, but I don't want to over tighten this because then it's going to make my card want to pull open. So there's not a whole lot of adhesive here. I always flip my little adhesive runner backwards. Add some adhesive to here, something for the ribbon to stick to. Okay, and you could do all this before you actually glue it down, but I like doing it this way so I know how tight to make it as the ribbon is on there. So it's a little tight, so I'm going to pull this before I do the next level. It's just going to tug. So now that you have this down and you feel like it's nice and secure, you're going to take your little pennants, and these I am not going to ink. I'm just going to leave them plain. I kind of like the white on the white. It's one of those little weird things I have. And there's this little fold over piece at the top, just like this. See? And it turns it into a little pennant. So before it kind of looked like a diamond, which I think is kind of fun. So you could leave it the way it is. It looks like a diamond, but there is a little perforation on here for a little fold over, just like that. So I want to see, do I want to ink? Nope, we're going to leave it uninked. And I am going to go gold, silver, gold. So that what I'm going to do here, to make sure there's adhesive on that little fold over and then on the pennant itself. I'm going to come in, I got to do the gold first because that's the first one going on here. There we go. And the cool thing about this adhesive, I know I'm getting it on my background paper, but on my little piece here, I'm only getting it wherever it is. It's because it's dots, it's not leaving lots of strings, which I think is kind of fun. All right, so come here, and then I am going to come in and get the little bottom flap on there first to make sure that the ribbon is in that flap, just like that, and then fold over. And then the ribbon is being held down now by the pennant. Simple, right? So you come in, just like that, and these have got to be pretty snug together because I got to fit 3 of them in here. All right, and then add my adhesive to the last one. Fits right in here. And there we go. And because I've added a whole bunch of background, I'm not going to add any of the sequins like I did to this card, but you definitely could if you wanted to do the sequins. And that is the next batch of cards that you can mass produce. Having a banner, you can change up the background with sequins, with the embossing powder, layering it with a nice big heavy background foil paper, and then your card base. So in this kit, you also get this other, and this is in the bumper pack, I believe. You also get this little gift card holder, which I think is super cute. And then you can just layer putting some of those amazing little pop outs on there. So making these little crafts does not have to be super, super complicated. So this is what it looks like when you first pop it out. So this is one of them. There's actually 4 total in the kit. And again, you want to move and put the folds, all the little perforations down, just like this. Really easy, right? The first step you're going to do is you're going to add adhesive right along this on the one that actually has the pattern paper. And you're going to fold that over and glue that down just like that. Now, if you put this little flap on the inside, there's a possibility that whatever you stick inside this little envelope could fall out. So you want to make sure this fold goes over top right, just like that. So you place your adhesive, as the last adhesive, you place that right there. And now you have a little envelope. Super cute. So I've pulled out a fun tag and I've kept the same pattern. There's a whole bunch of these tags. We're going to put that tag right there. Use the adhesive, stick it down. And I'm just going vertical with the tag, just for a little contrast to something different. And then there's a whole bunch of pre-made labels. This one says just for you. This one says made with love. I just picked some fun ones and you can pop them right on top just like that. And this one already has kind of a fun design of that square in there. So we're kind of playing those little dots. I'm kind of lining it just between so you see those little dots just kind of poking out. And then when you're ready to close your gift card, you can use the same little adhesive to close it down with whatever is in there. A gift card, money, your call. It can be just something really simple, just like that. To add a little something extra, why not? We're going to take our super tight glue. Again, links for all the supplies are down in the information section and a coupon code for super tight glue. This one is the dual tip max glue pen. And then I'm taking my little quick stick. This is how I do my sequins. I just love it. I actually poured my sequins into a little cup, and I'm going to pick out a fun contrasting color, something different here. So I'm going to pick a big white sequin. I don't like that one. It's just big white sequin. I'm going to pop that right there. No, I don't like the white on the white. So we are going to do another big one on here is this. It looks like a silver, and it's just something different. And there it is. Look at that. How fun. I mean, those are so fast and easy because they're all pre-perforated. It's just sticking them down and then adding a little bit of something fun to that. And again, you can make 4 of these. That's 4 gift card holders you can get with one kit. So thanks so much for stopping by and checking out how to make all these amazing cards. We didn't just make 10 this time. We made 15 different items, of which all the cards that we have made you could mass produce because there's a ton of extra stuff. And also for every single one of the little gift boxes, the little purse boxes, the little square boxes, or the gift card holders, so you can make up to 4 each. So there's so many varieties. Supply links are going to be all listed down below, so don't forget to check those out. And if you would like to see the entire kit, the unboxing video will be linked up above. So thanks so much for sticking around, and I will see you guys again soon. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.